All right. I think we're live. All
All
right,
right.
Dad. Good evening.
Good evening. It is good
Doing
evening.
yeah. So I'm glad we finally had a chance to kick this off. We've been talking about putting together some sessions like this for a while.
Yep.
Um, I obviously look up to you as a father figure and a mentor, role model, um, and I think we're both in a position maybe to share some experiences that might help people that might just be curious, or they might be going through similar situations in life. And so,
Yeah.
I figured we'd record these sessions and just put them out there for the world, and whoever wants to listen. You know,
Yeah. Sounds good to
uh,
me.
yeah. So I should mention that we're in two different parts of the world right now. You're based in Detroit, Michigan,
Yep.
and I'm based in Tokyo, Japan. So at times maybe the connection might seem a bit laggy, or um, the lighting is going to be different. So it'll be dark for you, and as you can see where I'm at, it's pretty day. So if anybody's watching and wondering why is the why is it daytime where he's at and nighttime where he's at, because we're talking on opposite sides of the earth right now.
13 hours or something, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So okay, I think we can just kick right into it for this first one. And maybe I can just set the table and explain kind of what I'm going through at the moment, and hopefully you could share some insight with me, um, some guidance. So basically, I've been working in the business sector for over 20 years, in a number of different types of businesses, language consulting, real estate, business development, sports media, and I've been a manager for over the last 15 years, a team leader, and most of that has been in Japan. All of it's been in Japan, actually, um, since 2005. And I've changed jobs throughout my career, and like I said, I mentioned I've changed careers, and there was always another job around the corner. So when I left a company, normally it was because I had something else to go to. Um, so I've been working basically continuously from when I was 15 until right around COVID. Um, and then in 2019, I moved to Tokyo for a new job, and right around the time when COVID hit, everything for me bottomed out. I had some major changes in my family structure. We'll get into in another call. I moved to a new location, but and then because of the pandemic as well, a lot of places weren't hiring, and so for the first time in my life, as an adult, I found myself unemployed for months at a time,
Okay.
and I would get jobs, and 3 months later it would fall through because this was the pandemic, right? Everything's bottoming out. And so that went on for about 2 years, where it was like touch and go. I would get something and then it would fall through, or it just wouldn't work out. And then my most recent job was an executive level job at an international sports media company. And I remember having this feeling like, finally, after 20 years of like climbing this ladder, I got to a point where um, like I made it. I think that's
Yeah.
probably the simplest way to put it, is like, oh, I made it. Finally, college, all the grinding, it paid off. And so then at the end of last year, the company restructured, and this is going. A lot of people right now are experiencing the same thing. So I know this
Yes.
is not just me.
Yes, they are.
But the company restructured, and initially I was not too upset about it, because typically they give you kind of a nice severance package or whatever they call it. So it wasn't an immediate like financial distress. Um, but then when I started to go back out and to look at entering the job market again, I found that there were tons of companies right now that are hiring. It's not like it was in the pandemic. Every day I'm seeing new job postings left and right. But inside of me, I couldn't really will myself to even apply for most of these jobs that I was seeing because I'm just, I guess, tired. I'm tired of having to jump through all these different loops and interviews and aptitude tests and cover letters and getting referrals and all the things that you need to do to get a job. And I think part of me just wanted to not do that for a while and take a break. But then once I started to realize, okay, you're not going to get a job. It's not going to just fall through the ceiling. You got to put some effort into it. So I started to do that. I started to put the applications in, get my resume polished up, make custom, cover letters, and basically the response that I have gotten back has been almost kind of heartbreaking, almost like soul shattering, because I get one of two things. Either I get no response at all, and it's just a black hole. I just sent all this stuff out, and whoever it is on the other end never even bothered to look at it or send me some kind of response. Or I'm getting these kind of messages, and I have a couple that I wanted to show you.
Okay.
Messages like this, where it says, "Thanks again for giving us the opportunity to consider you for the position. We appreciate the time you took to apply, for your interest in the role. We regret to inform you that we will not be moving forward with your candidacy for this position. As you continue your career journey, we invite you to view other jobs that we're not going to let you apply for." So I've got dozens of these letters. Dozens of these letters, and it's just like it's the same letters. It's just a template, and they just copy paste your name onto the top of it.
Yeah.
But I'm getting these two type of responses. I'm getting either nothing, which I have no idea what it's called, ghosting. When no one even replies to your messages, right? I'm at a point where I feel like my motivation is so low where you almost want to just not even do anything. You feel like you're defeated before you even start. And that's kind of put me in a position where I just feel like, why bother? So now I'll see jobs online that I think is a perfect match for my interests, my experience. But then you just kind of talk yourself out of it. You think, I'm going to spend 30 minutes, 1 hour, whatever, preparing a cover letter, going through their application form, where you have to manually input all the information that's in the resume anyway. But you have to do all that, and it feels like it's just wasting my time because I'm gonna get a message in like 2 weeks that says thanks but no thanks.
Yeah.
So what do you think? I mean, first off, have you had any experiences like this, in your life where you've had to look for work and you felt like every door was closing right in your face? And if so, like, how did you get through it?
That's an amazing question, because my life was very unique in that I was a musician. And most of the time, our jobs was, if you could play and read, that's what you did, until I joined Ford Motor Company in 1972. Yes. And that was sort of like an interview where I already kind of had the job. So I didn't have to work real hard. I was the only person interviewing for the job. And so, and the amazing part about it, I was always in a particular area where each time I got promoted, I brought another person in behind me that I knew, and introduced them and said, hey, there's a job available, and maybe you can come and interview for it. And they always got the job. So never ran into anything. But we talking back in the '70s, though. You know,
Hmm.
you're talking a whole different time, and things have changed. Like you said, we've gone through a pandemic. We've gone through deep presidents and
Hmm.
all kinds of crazy things to get us where we're at. And a lot of people have lost jobs, lost businesses, lost a lot of stuff, and but they can't give up. You know, it's time for a change. Sometimes you have to go back to step number one to start a whole new thing. If the old thing didn't work and you keep trudging and you're getting the same answers from everybody, I'm a firm believer though. One of those times somebody's going to say, "Hmm, this interview looks really good," because they've never
Hmm.
seen, the paperwork that you'll be sending in to them, for the interview, um, with somebody else.
Hmm.
So I think the main thing is just don't give up. Just
Hmm.
keep trudging at it. And all of a sudden you're going to say, "I'm glad I never gave up. Look at this."
Hmm.
Something came through and it was big as I don't know what. And truly that has happened to me before, where I could have turned something down and I
Hmm.
didn't. And it took me to major heights in the world. They're coming from a musical background. Now I'm a dance instructor, which they kind of parlay with each other. Still music related. Never knew I was going to be doing that after I got my degree from U of D in business, and marketing
Hmm.
was my specialty. Never thought that marketing was going to be my specialty in my next business, and it is truly why I'm where I'm at today. And still growing, because dancing, in particular ballroom dancing, Detroit style, is a hot thing. Stepping is coming along, but ballroom is what's going on, and I've learned to master that, you know, with the skills and God's blessing.
Well, I appreciate that. I think you're right that we are in a different era now. Obviously, like you mentioned, the pandemic, political changes, technology.
Yes.
But I still feel like some things are like universal. Like people are going to hire who they want to hire.
Yeah.
People are going to a lot of times when a job is posted, the job has actually already been filled. But
Wow.
it's a formality, right? Because they have to look like that they've made it available for people to get. But really, it's their buddy, their friend's friend that got introduced them at a party or something like that.
Wow. Okay.
So I think that has not changed. I think that has been going on since the dawn of time, and it always will. Is that people
Hmm.
will hire people that they know and that they
Hmm.
feel comfortable on a personal level with,
Yeah.
as opposed to a complete stranger.
Yeah.
Um, so I had an interview recently, um, where it was someone that I knew, and it was in a job that I was very familiar with. Like I know this particular type of job because I managed a company like this for years, and we had a really good interview session, and I left that office thinking, okay, I got this. And then a couple
Okay.
days later, I followed up with an email, and he goes, "Oh yeah, sorry, we can't hire anyone right now." And that kind of hit me because I thought, man, like I'm 100% qualified for this job, um, and I still didn't get it, and it was a person that I
Mm.
knew, you know.
Uh,
Um, so I guess you're right, where you just have to keep pushing forward,
yeah.
right? You can't give up.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I I'm a firm believer that it's darkest, before the dawn.
Yeah.
Um, and I guess you could say there's light at the end of the tunnel, whatever. But when you think about every morning, it's the darkest before the sun comes up, right? And the sun
Oh yeah.
comes up, And
Yes.
so I'm kind of using that, I think, to just stay motivated. That right now I feel like I'm kind of in a dark period,
Hmm.
but believe that the sun is going to come up.
Oh, yes. And
Yeah.
the main thing is just keep that frame of mind. But the talent that you have is not going to go away. So while
Mm,
you're, progressing toward looking for something, keep fine tuning your skills while that's going on. Just keep tapping in, making yourself stronger, and
mhm,
you'll just look up one day, and I've seen that happen many times in the past, where all of a sudden somebody will say, you know what, I've been trying for a job for all this time, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this
mm,
job came through. And one of the best jobs I could have ever had, and so they're so happy. But sometimes, like you said, you gotta go down before you go up.
mm,
You there was a book out called "Fail Up," and
mhm,
it was a great book for understanding that sometimes you have to fail to go up,
mhm,
and it's not really failing; it is learning as you move forward. So you got to drop and learn from that, and then move up from what you learned, and become better. So if you don't fail, you can't get better. And I
mhm,
always say, even in ballroom dancing, the more mistakes you make, the more you learn.
mm.
So it's just part of the game. Failing and mistakes and all that stuff just causes you to become a better person, because it happens. If you don't have any mistakes or any failures along the way, you stay complacent. You
Mhm.
don't grow because you don't have anything that causes you to grow.
No, I think you're 100% right on that. And I think in my own experience, every job I've had was because of either a failure or some kind of discomfort in the
Hmm.
previous role.
Hmm.
It's like you need to shed a skin to grow. You have to
Hmm.
go through some discomfort to get to that next evolution, right? The next stage.
Yeah.
Um, so I think you're right, and I expected that this time around when the company restructured and I left the company. Um, but it's just that time between the
Yes.
evolutions is
Yeah.
this is probably the longest that I've had in
Yeah.
my life, where um, it feels like a lot of time has gone past now, and it's like I need to
Hmm.
kind of kick myself into overdrive. One thing I wanted to talk about, I think, as well, and I think you're honestly a master at this, is your personal network, and leveraging that network for business, um, and for other opportunities. What do you think about staying active in the community and just making sure that you're readily visible, so that when somebody has an opportunity, um, they think of you because they see you. You know.
That's an important thing for sure. Um, a lot of times we're invited to major events because we have a name, and it adds
Mhm.
to their event that we're there, because they know what's going to happen is we're going to talk to everybody in the place. My wife, Jackie, your mother, will take one side of the room. I'll be on the other
Mhm.
side of the room, and we'll talk to everybody in the room, and then we'll meet up. But we're introduced to a lot of different people from just the type of personalities we have. We don't have frowns on our face. We smile,
Mhm.
which draws people towards you. So, and then you just learn more about other people because they connect with you.
Mhm.
So I'd say you have to be out there. You have to uh, not shut down. You have to
Mhm.
try to go to as many events that you can make it to. Always support someone's birthday if you can, because
Mhm.
they're supporting everything that you do, especially if you know they do. Try to do what you can to support other people that have been supporting you. As they say, support those who support you.
Well, I think that's really crucial. What you said is, to be outgoing, to be helpful to other people. But I think that energy is important too, right? When you have a positive outlook, when you radiate positivity, people are going to be attracted to you. And
Yes.
I think you're right, is that even up on the inside you're struggling and you're going through a lot of, sadness. If you can
Yes.
try to radiate positivity, you might change your fortune. You might have someone that's attracted to you. I don't mean in a romantic way, but someone that says, I
Yeah.
need someone to hire someone for this job. Oh wow, this guy seems like a really great person that we could hire, or
Hmm.
this lady. So I
Hmm.
think you're right, and I've been pushing myself recently, um, to go to more networking events. And I think you said a really important part, even something as simple as a birthday party,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
I think you've mentioned the story, how you met my mom, is was like, on a boat,
Yep.
and
Yep.
sometimes you never know, you just never know the kind of interactions you're going to have that turn out to be some of the best relationships, uh,
Yes.
personal or business, right? And if you're
Yes.
not if you're not at that place, then that never happens.
That is so true because
Mm,
what you just mentioned was 35 years ago.
mm,
So, I didn't go there to meet her, but
mm,
someone introduced me to her.
mm,
And he said, I want you to meet this young lady. She acts just like you. And I go, really? I'm like, yep. He said, she dresses real nice and she's outgoing. She's just
mm.
like you. And little did we know that we were going to end up being husband and wife.
Right.
So
No, she did.
she, oh
No,
my
she
goodness.
didn't. This-
I-
She, she walked in the picture.
Just have me come
We're,
in.
we're
I'm
videotaping.
sorry.
let me let me let
Oh,
me tell you what just happened. So as we're having this conversation, I'm getting sucked into the conversation, and I'm
yeah.
forgetting that we're even talking through a screen. So I'm thinking that we're in the same room talking, and
Yeah.
then I see my mom pop up, and I'm like, wait, why is she here?
Yeah. She just walked in the house.
I just walked in the house. I live
But because I'm looking
Oh
at two
boy.
different screens. I'm looking at two different screens, and for a split second, I thought she
Right.
was behind me. I thought she was behind
Yeah.
me.
Behind you.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that was
And
good,
I
Mom.
never saw her. I'm looking at you, so I
Uh,
never saw her.
and
uh,
I'm just
that is,
walking in the house. I'm just getting here. I'm just saying
that,
hello.
yeah. We're
Yeah.
recording a session now, so we'll follow up with you later on, Mom. But yeah, it's good to
All
Okay.
right.
see
No
you.
problem.
Perfect,
All right.
perfect timing. Perfect timing.
All right.
Sure it is. I would say that's perfect timing.
Uh,
Bye.
yeah, but
Amazing.
I,
But
I
we had
I
talked
think
about her the whole time, and she
yeah,
happened to
that's
be
funny.
here.
But see, that's exactly what we're talking about, right? It's how that energy works, right? You
Yeah.
can you
Yeah.
can you can talk about someone, and
Wow.
somehow they know, right?
Ain't
And
that
and
deep?
she popped up right when we started to talk about that,
That's,
right?
that's deep.
Yeah. So maybe
Wow.
maybe that's a solution, is if I want to be chosen, by somebody, is I have to be visible,
Yes.
and I have to be,
For
in
sure.
there. Yeah,
For sure.
yeah.
And greeting people that you don't even know. I had a phone call. Um, Actually, I went and picked up some flyers for my next class,
Hmm.
and I went to the printer, and we're outside in the car, and they're going to bring the box out, of
Hmm.
thousands of flyers, and the guy says, I told him my name. I said, my name is Calvin
Hmm.
Seibert. He said, oh, hi, Calvin. How you been doing? Like he's known me forever. Jackie
Mm,
even thought he knew me forever. I thought that was the most phenomenal greeting.
mm,
Uh, I'm talking about it now, so that lets you know it stuck with me, and it
mm,
stuck with her too. It was like he acted like he knew me. I'm
mm,
like, maybe I need to start doing that. So you learn from other
mm,
people. You
mm.
learn and you learn.
Wow. Well, I think that's really good to keep in mind. I used to have a boss that I worked with for many years, And there's a couple of things that he taught me that still stick with me today. But one of the sayings he would always just reiterate was, "You never know who the Messiah is."
Mm.
And I think what he meant is that when you meet people, it's easy to judge somebody based off of like what their status is. If you meet the mechanic, or you meet the janitor in the school, or you might treat them differently than you would if you met like the principal of the school, or the president of the car company, if you happen to meet them. But it's very likely that principal or that president may not ever really talk to you or help you in any way. But that mechanic might have a nephew who's married to somebody whose father is somebody, and that mechanic might be the one to actually help you get a job at the car company.
Wow.
So you never know who the Messiah is, right? You never know who really could help you out of a bad situation. And so really you should treat everybody with respect.
That's right. That's right.
And
that's right.
And you'll find, at least in my experience, I found that it's, business, because I've done business, sales for a long time, and you go into these sales meetings and you never get anything out of it sometimes. But then your phone will ring, and it'll be someone you met at some event 6 months ago that had nothing to do with your business at the time. You exchanged business cards. And I'm sure you've gotten situations like this where somebody wants you to teach a ballroom class or go to an event.
Yes. Right? Yes. Truly. Just from being at a certain place at a certain time. Say we did a wedding reception, and unique part about the wedding reception is that when the wedding couple was still at the church, we were at the reception hall, and we were teaching line dance and ballroom and stuff, keeping them all warmed up and everything before the couple came. So, which was very unusual. Usually everybody's just sitting around having a drink or whatever, and DJ's just playing a little stuff. Well, it even messed the DJ up so much that he wanted my card and said, "I've never seen anything like this, where they brought somebody in to get these people who would normally be sitting down the whole time, all wound up, so that when they walked in the door, everybody was all excited. They wasn't just sitting down, they were pumped up, And so that seemed to be a new thing that came across in our business to be called the party starters. And so we had to put it on our cards to let everybody know we know how to start a party for you. Even Dan Gilbert, one of the richest men here in I don't want to say the United States, but at least here in Michigan, brought me in to teach his staff like a team building dance, just to break their monotony of working all day. So then at the end of the day, he brought me in to teach them how to dance, and they called it team building. And it went over so extremely well that many other companies called me to do the same thing. So, it's your personality too, though. It's not just you just teaching somebody. They got to like their teacher. They got to like what you do, like you and your wife and whatever, So that's why we've been doing this for 23 years now.
Well, I think that's, these are all really good tips. I think maybe to summarize, the conversation, just because we're kind of out of time now, and maybe for people that are listening that might be going through a similar situation, some of the takeaways that we had, right, is, staying positive, not giving up is the most important thing. I think it sounds easy to say it. It's but it's probably harder in practice to do that, right? Is you've got to expect that there's going to be, a sunset or a sunrise at the end of a tough time, right? Leveraging your network, not being too prideful to ask people, if they know of any opportunities that are available. I know for myself, I get quite prideful. I don't want to ask people for help.
Okay.
But maybe that's something that you need to do, is just you need to ask people directly, hey, I need help. And,
Yep.
and if they are your friends, then they really should be, trying to
Yeah.
help you, right? So
Yeah.
there's no
Yep.
downside to that.
Right.
And then expanding your network by, like you said, going out to events, being, visible.
Yes.
And I think
Yes.
also, like you mentioned, just helping other people too, right? I think
Yeah.
if you always come around people with your hand out asking for favors,
Uh-oh.
people get tired of that real quick, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Um,
Always. But if you wanna run somebody away, give them some money. So they can owe you. You'll never see them again.
yeah. But I think, like you said, I think helping other people, supporting other people, being other people's
Yeah.
cheerleaders. I think
But no,
Okay.
that thanks again. All of these
Yeah.
things that we talked about,
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to apply them, and hopefully they can help in my situation. But
Yeah.
maybe more importantly is to anybody who's watching, hopefully this helps your situation as well. And maybe we'll post this and put some, people can leave comments. I don't, neither one of us is a certified, counselor. So I don't think, I don't want us to have to
Right.
give anybody the impression that we can help give specific advice to their situations. But again, the idea is just to show that, a father and son having an open dialogue, hopefully this helps somebody else. Hopefully somebody sees this and it gives them some light. And I think we'll make this into an ongoing series. We'll do some more sessions that have different topics. Maybe some will be from me, some will be from you, or some might be from other people that you might want to have on as a guest. But I just want to say thank you for your time. Thank you for your encouragement, and then thank you for your love as well. It means the world to me.
Thank you.
And maybe anything you want to say as we wrap up.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for having me. I love this concept of reaching out and passing off advice that could possibly help somebody. If you can help one person, you've helped, a ton of people, because it spreads. One person, once they are helped, end up helping somebody else because they were helped. So I think you doing this is a phenomenal thing, and I think you did a great job. Thank you.
Well, Dad, thank you so much. I guess we'll wrap up here, and thank you as well to everybody who's watching. And if you could maybe like the video and subscribe to the channel, and you'll be notified when the next video is up, hopefully in a week from now. So thank you all for watching, and until next time.
Yep.